Hello, welcome into Spiritual Mixtape. I'm Daisy Mack. This is the energy update for Feb 23 to March 1st, 2026, and it's called I Think You're Too Much, and that's gold. But before I get going, I want to remind everybody that we have our morning meditations next week. That is the 2nd to the 6th, and right after that, we have the 28-day breathwork challenge. One is running in our free community, our morning meditations. They're always free every other month, and this month's theme is a healing microdose. It's 25 minutes, 7:30 a.m. PST. Like I said, it's all in the free community. And Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, every day next week, we are going to do a 25-minute practice. Breathwork, sound bowls, meditation, healing microdose themed. So healing short but regular bursts. That's how breathwork really works, to be honest. It's all about consistency with that breath pattern in order to get your nervous system regulated and online. So if you're into that, come in, totally free. It's all in the show notes. And then in our paid community, which by the way is still an absolute steal, it's $40 a month, $400 if you want to pay annually. We're doing a 28-day consistency challenge. It's a different practice, 28 days of them, and it's already going really well in there. Like, people are already doing it, but we're going to do it as a community from the 7th. And you know what? We finish on April 3rd, and you know, the day after, for anyone that makes it the whole way through the 28-day challenge, they get invited to a private breathwork party. And of course, it's on the 4/4 portal, which is all about consistency and changing habits. I actually didn't plan it that way. It just happened. And of course it did, because when you're right on time, beautiful coincidences happen all over the place. So I'd love to see you there. All the details in the show notes, and DM me if you've got any questions, or message me hello@spiritualmixtape.com if you want to talk about any of it. But let's get into the energy update. Well, first of all, how are you? How are you after last week? It was a lot, right? I had to sleep for forever yesterday, which is why this energy update is a tiny bit late, and I'm sorry about that, but I think we're all there, right? We're sort of just getting back up to speed today. And there is more breathing room this week, but we have a very, very big Friday coming up, 3 different transits on the day. And of course, Mercury Retrograde starts on Wednesday. But us who are sensitive to energy, no doubt, are already feeling the Mercury Retrograde of it all. And if you really felt Friday, which I did, I felt Friday more than anything else, a total beginning point, standing right in the heart of the beginning, the 0 point of Aries, the start of it all. My Friday felt like that, to be honest. I had a fun eclipse and a fun fire horse energy. I've been bringing red envelopes, so ampaos as they're called in Filipino. Obviously, it's Chinese New Year, but you know, we in the Philippines like to adapt. So I've been bringing ampaos to all of my classes and just putting $1 in them and a crystal. So I'm not your rich auntie, but everyone's been really enjoying them. And I taught my first movement class in a year since the double mastectomy and reconstruction, which was only in November. And I've been really scared about teaching movement again. But we did it. We taught on my royal I did it. I taught on Friday. So like I said, I really felt that Saturn-Neptune conjunction at 0 point in Aries. Totally wild. You know, there's not been one of those for like 7,000 years. Like, not even once in not even once in multiple lifetimes, just once for your whole life, like for all of your ancestral line. It's that big. So of course we're going to be still feeling it. And I do touch on it in this update. So let's get into it, shall we? This week, I love this title because it's true. I think you're too much, and that's gold. Mercury retrograde in Pisces to 2026. Move before you're ready. Eclipse season energy. The week at a glance. There's light at the end of the tunnel. We're not there yet, but we're very close enough to feel it. And if you look with your heart this week, you'll see it. New land on the horizon. The map to get there is being rewritten right now. Mercury stations retrograde this week in Pisces, and in the eclipse corridor, that's not bad news. That's the rewrite you need and have been looking for. Mercury moving backwards is the universe hitting edit on the story, recoding the message. In Pisces, it goes deep, all the way into the emotional truth of it. Your inner GPS is being reprogrammed to the home you've never known, but have always been looking for. Should I just say that again? Because I think that's pretty meaningful to this week. To the home you've never known, but always been looking for. I feel that as I say it, I literally feel my inner GPS reprogram as I acknowledge that. Here's what I want you to sit with this week, though. If you have ever felt too much, too intense, too wild, too passionate, too big for any room, you are exactly who this new land was built for. The misfits, the ones who never quite fitted in. You didn't get it wrong. You were always sailing towards something that didn't exist yet, but now it exists. We are at 0 point, the beginning of it all. Saturn in Aries, the very, very, very beginning of everything. The only way to work with this energy is to move before there's proof, to see it with your heart before your eyes can confirm it, to let your heart code that inner GPS and trust it. That's the work of this week, not the doing, but the trusting. I always love to add in practices, and I've gone a bit overboard this week. This whole month of February, I've been adding in my 3 favorite breath works because they are all about the nervous system regulation, which we really need. This moment in time can be really dysregulating if you're not choosing to ground every day. They also hold the vision so that if you can't see with your eyes, you can see with your heart. Just always love that whole vibe. And the 3-day quantum leap. So if you're feeling your timelines need collapsing, if you're feeling like I can just feel on the edge of my field in my periphery vision that thing that I have been working for is just there, that's the 3-day breath work to do. It starts with healing the quantum body, goes into collapsing timelines, and then taps your creative intelligence. And you can do them all in one go. You can do them over 3 days. Totally up to you. The vision breath work is part of a 7-day series. So you can either do the 7-day series or you can just do the deep vision breath work. I would go for the longer one this week. There's a 10-minute practice and 22-minute practice. Hey, I'm a girl that is too much herself. I like a lot of options. So this is what we're doing. Even when I do a vision, write a breath work on one topic vision, I have to give you 2 different lengths. And I actually record them both. I don't record the long one and then edit down so that you have a short one. I record both in one go because, you deserve complete integrity with the recording as well. And in addition to those, and obviously I've got the 28-day challenge there for anyone that's really working on grounding, because it's not a one and done thing. You must ground every day because there's such wild energy. And I'm not just talking about how you're experiencing the new energy out there in the world. It's also how everyone out there who's not like you and I, who are desperately holding on to the old guard and really doing some quite terrible things to keep the old guard going. You are feeling their energy too, and it's really ungrounding. Of course it's ungrounding. It's literally not meant to be here. Okay, enough of my own lecture. I'll stop there. But that's why I put the 28-day challenge. Now for the 4 extra vibes, 2 from the podcast, we have a walking meditation for Mercury Retrograde and an energy practice to cleanse your energy, which again is grounding, but also helps to retune you to the new frequencies. And then I've put a Mercury Retrograde breathwork that lives in the membership and Begin Again, which is my favorite, just really beautiful, gentle breathwork. Those are all the practices. Now, usually with the updates, I don't do the closer looks. I leave the closer looks for the written aspect. And you can go into the free community, same place that we do the morning meditations. You can just binge on these updates. Take it all in because it's a little long to read. Sometimes when we have multiple signatures, it's long to read. But because we're in the middle of this eclipse corridor, I thought, why not just give you a little hinty hint at what's going on in case you don't have time to get to the written update. But I suggest that you at least join, and then it gets dropped into your inbox as well, so you don't even need to log in and read. But Wednesday, we hit this Mercury retrograde, and I know that people usually freak out about it, but it's really timed so well, and in Pisces, so that we can get to the emotional truth of everything that's just happened and before that, and rewrite our story. No longer need to be afraid of X because it has given me Y, and I am now ready for Z, whatever it is, right? Like, this is the truth of sweet, sweet Pisces moving with intuition instead of logic. It's not very Mercury, okay? But actually, in this moment in time, those two slightly uncomfortable friends are exactly, what do they say? Funny bedfellows? I think that's what Mercury in Pisces is. In this retrograde, they never would have really been great bedfellows in any other point apart from this retrograde, in this moment in time, in this eclipse. They've become funny bedfellows, and I'm here for it. This is misfit punk energy right now, and that's what these two do quite well together. They don't make sense, but as opposites attract, it's sort of, maybe not quite sexy, but it's definitely up there as some sort of like alternative, independent film that actually has a lot of heart and really gets you. That's what these two are up to. And then for you as a personal take on it, that whole thing that's been happening with your rewrite of your identity, or you figuring out your identity, who are you now in this moment in time? Because who you were is not fitting anymore for you. Not what other people say, how you feel. That's what this retrograde does. It rewrites that whole identity piece, is being rewritten in a way that makes sense for you, that's embodied for you, that is going to carry you through this next chapter. Review over reveal, very, very true. Now, Friday is a hodgepodge, okay? But a bit more like weird than a hodgepodge. The sun conjunct the North Node, so that's the sun shining on truth and destiny, Mars squaring Uranus, and Mercury retrograde conjunct Venus. And it could feel heavy. And if it doesn't feel heavy, it might just feel really jumbled, like you can't quite figure out what's going on, like everything is happening all at once, but not in a fun quantum leap way, in a way that is incredibly ungrounded. So definitely this is a day to do a long breathwork practice, to really dig into the ones I suggested at the top. This is the witnessing of the worst jam session in the world. Like, the way I thought about it was like seeing all three of your favorite people from different bands, and they're just awful together. They are just truly terrible together. That's what today will be like, or Friday will be like. It won't kill you, but it's just not the vibe, and it's slightly disappointing. But that's okay, because you've just got to find the little piece of light that's in the mix of all of it on Friday, and not take anything to heart, and just be like, okay, well, what can I learn? That's what we're going to take from Friday. And, stay clear of the drams. A good piece of advice always. Now, Saturday is our final 22 day of the month, and it's been part of an arc that opened on the 2nd of the month and has amplified as the month has gone on. Now, if you're not familiar with 22 energy, every part of Saturday's date adds up to the number 22. So in numerology, that is, I call it builder energy. It's an amplifier. So we actually don't have any 11 dates until 2030 now. That's when every part of the date adds up to the number 11. That's a pure angelic frequency. But between now and 2030, we actually do have an abundance of 22 days. Not every day, of course, but enough throughout the month that whatever you're building gets an extra boost on those days, especially if it's soul aligned. I feel like everything should get a boost on those days, but if you are building something soul aligned, building something for the new earth, building something from your misfit energy, it's going to get a boost on these 22 days. Now, to round things up, I always do a weekly ritual, and it's always in the written side of things. But again, because we're in this eclipse corridor, it's about sharing a little bit more than usual. Earth energies dance. This is just my sweet take on getting you to move somatically. And because I was forced last week to move before I was feeling ready and teaching a class, I thought that I would just drop it in here. The song I suggest you dance to is LCD Sound System's All My Friends, which is why I decided to wear the t-shirt recording the podcast today. And the whole point is just to feel your too muchness, because your too muchness is actually the thing that is going to get you to this new place, and being a huge and important part of this new place. You have spent a long time, if you're anything like me, if you're anything like a lot of the people in my community, being told to dim your light, to be smaller, just fit in. And you can't do that anymore, because what is being built needs that too muchness energy. Your too muchness is actually gold, so important and so vital. So go find your too muchness this week and revel in it. Like, completely indulge in your wonderful too muchness. You are gold, you always have been, and in the next few months you're about to see how much you weigh, and it's going to be such a welcome home for you. I was going to say surprise, but actually a welcome home. Okay, everybody, I love talking to you. There'll be another energy update next week, one a week, written one back in the community. Next week is the eclipse. You've got this. You survived the fire horse. You survived the year of the snake. You survived the 9 year. It was all to lead up to these points. What begins around these eclipses does take 6 months, potentially 18 months to come to a conclusion. And of course, we're always looping on the 9 years and the 18 years, which is when it returns. The eclipses return to their set points. But I just want to say, if you've liked this vibe, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, write a review if you're listening to the podcast. But most importantly, come into the community and do morning meditations with us. March is Healing Microdose. I want you to be there. I want to meet you. I want to spend time with you. So does everybody else in the community. Come find your misfits. Come find your too muchness with us. I couldn't think of anything or anywhere I'd rather be. Until next week then, and hope to see you over there. Bye.